Yo, mic check, 1, 2. Coach JT in the building, what it do? 94 feet, that's the space we own. From baseline to baseline, make it known. Dribble the beat, pass the rhyme. Got that hardwood flow, transcended space and time. Swish, nothing but net. Word to Reggie Miller, these other podcasts, they just fill up. We elevate, never hate. Dropping knowledge, seal your fate. 94 feet, that's the court, that's the pod. Talking hoops, ain't no facade. 94 feet, hit a bounce, hit a swish. It's that podcast, granting every wish. From the jump ball to the final buzzer. Analyzing plays like a lyrical puzzler.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to another episode of 94 Feet with Coach JT. As always, do me a favor, please subscribe to the pod. Visit 94feetwithcoachjt.com. You can get the merch. Still got the merch online. Got the sweatsuits, the hoodies. Got a lot of things coming for you guys in the spring of 2026. Again, shout out to Woods Media in the building, handling business, man. The place to be if you're looking for anything to record, audio, music, whatever you want it, they can do it. They can pop up on you. They can pull up whatever you need. Holler at Woods Media. All right, let them know JT sent you. Let me get to my brief intro today, man. Today, we're joined by my first guest, Brie Flood, a competitor on and off the court, Sacramento Bee All-Metro Honorable Mention. Bree's logged over 66 varsity games, over 1K points in just 3 years of basketball. Sierra Delta League champion, a single-season school record holder for 3 points made, as her work ethic speaks for herself as well. My next guest also today, Olivia Novi, a student multi-sport athlete from Christian Brothers High School. A junior, class of 2027. She's the captain of the Falcons Women Varsity Program. She wears number 3. Also the impactful shooting guard, small forward, or point guard, really wherever you need her to be. Both of these ladies, IQ on and off the court is next level, but also they are multiple sport athletes while they're continuing their high school career. Thank you both for being here. I appreciate you guys for coming. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Look at that. See, like all in sync. Again, thanks for taking time out your day and, being multiple athletes, right? So for those that don't know you or just know your backgrounds, let's just go with our upperclassmen first real quick. Brie, just give us a little bit about just the sports in general, the impact of your life on off the court, but also for me, I can say it's been a pleasure knowing you. Man, I don't even know. It's been years since I met you and Pops, and shout out to Pops is here with you, supporting you since day one. Top girl dad, I know, man, he's there. But you've been in the gym or working or doing something for years, though. What about where did all the sports kind of, when did you get into it, and how many sports have you participated in since you're not an adult yet, you're almost there, but it's like I've known you for that long. What about the background of that?
The background of sports, I feel like I've done a lot of sports. I've done everything: dance, gymnastics, tried to karate here and there, did cross country, did swimming. But I really feel like basketball, I have a different love for basketball than I have any other sports. My dad, he's really encouraged me to get into basketball, and he's just pushed me just beyond. All my coaches have just pushed me, and I really feel like basketball, if you want to play a sport, that's the sport. That's the physical, mental, and it's just really fun, and I just enjoy working towards something every single day. And when something becomes so much a part of your life, you just look forward to doing it. It's like a job that I look forward to doing every single day.
Well, I wouldn't even say from an adult in the room, it's not even a job. That's a plus if you can do it and it's not a job to you. Because I can tell, I've seen it, again, gym time, you spend a lot of hours in it. It's not work for you. You do it to get results, to get better in competition-wise. So, and Liv, same for you. Like, where's it originated from? Like, was it always hoop, or were other sports, or something different? Or how? I mean, again, given your size and ability, everybody's like, oh yeah, she's a. I mean, you can whatever, right? No telling. What about sports that kind of drew you in, or what kind of brought you in there?
Yeah, I think definitely from an early age, super athletic. Like, I kind of want to do everything. And my parents were super supportive of whatever I wanted to do also. Like, if I wanted to go try this, I'd have their full support. And I used to play soccer, basketball, obviously. I played flag football, but soccer and basketball were really my two growing up. And then my parents supported me in both sports. And then eventually, as I got to high school, I kind of found that my passion really lied within basketball. And so since then, that's what I pursued. And my parents have really just, whatever I want to do, they're always there. And they've pushed me to be the best version of myself. And definitely, they've really helped with my work ethic. They've really taught me, like, hey, like, if you want something, go get it. And so that's really kind of where this passion for hoops comes from, for sure.
Shout out to all the parents, man. I mean, as youth and adolescents, we definitely need somebody or something to push something a little fire behind us, or just encouraging, right? Because the support of it always helps. And you guys both can answer this question. Just who are some athletes, people who you may look up to or still do, or kind of look like, okay, look, because I mean, I had mine. Other people in the room have our people we want to mimic or kind of follow that game after. What are some people, athletes, any sport that you guys kind of was like, okay, this is something like on my wall or my post or something like that?
You start?
Yeah, I'll start. Somebody that I definitely look up to is my great uncle Curt Flood. If you're from Oakland, you definitely know about the legacy of Curt Flood. He fought for free agency in sports, and a lot of people, they don't recognize him. And he's definitely an athlete that I look up to, and I look forward to talking about his story because, growing up in Oakland in the early 1900s, dealing with segregation, racism, being treated as property rather than an athlete, and he definitely fought for free agency and advocated for that. And that's somebody that I look up to. And I look up to my dad a lot too. He's definitely helped me with everything. He may not be the best athlete, but I look up to him and I enjoy his coaching every single day.
That's what's up. Shout out to Pops in the building. What about you?
Yeah, I think honestly, especially, I've been into hoops and basketball from a young age, and especially in middle school. When I was in middle school, he was in high school, but Jared McCain, honestly, like when I kind of followed like his journey throughout high school and throughout college, and now he's obviously in the league, but watching kind of his YouTube and his mini documentaries that they would have him make, and he just really highlighted how important like the mental side of the game was. And I think definitely that's something that I have struggled with in the past, is kind of that mental side of the game, mentally tough, next play mentality, stuff like that. And then also the comparison factor of the sport too. It's really easy to get caught up in comparing like your journey to others. And so I definitely think that he's somebody that I've looked up to, and his work ethic too is definitely somebody that I've looked to, kind of tried to emulate, especially, how he's super goal oriented and stuff like that. Definitely something and someone that I look up to. And then my parents, they obviously don't play sports currently. They played a little bit of sports in high school, never took it to the college level that like I'm looking to do, but their work ethic is really like they work tirelessly, especially to provide for me and my sister. And so that's also something that I've taken from both of them, is like how hard they work, and trying to emulate that also on and off the court with basketball, really in the classroom as well. I'm big on academics, and so taking kind of their mentality and some other athletes, of course, like I said, Jared McCain, and kind of combining those together is really kind of what has obviously made me who I am a little bit today, and obviously what I look to do in the future.
That's what's up. Shout out to Jared McCain. Shout out to the whole family. Big brother Jace too, man. I got known Jace from Country Day years ago. Shout out to Dave Ank, letting us go in the gym to this day, in the lab. Yeah, man. So I grew up in that place too, man. So good family too. Another good family, but also work ethic, right? Those boys aren't where they are today without work ethic. So just in general. Also, talk about academics, right? Can't forget that. Can't go something under the rug. It can't get forgotten. I mean, even the foundation of that is important, no matter what you do, sports or not. And I tell my gentlemen, ladies, whoever I coach, come across, the foundation of academics, communication, networking, being respectful, like that's going to take you a lot farther than that ball will eventually, because the ball's going to start bouncing, or you got to parlay to something else, right? You may have to shift, right? Like a lot of athletes post whatever. What do we do now? Or now media is a big thing too, right? Or helping out or different stuff. So definitely the education base is crucial. Let's talk about hours, right? Everybody says, "Oh, I want to do this, do that." Give me a little bit about you guys' early day, like schedule wise, as far as how much work y'all putting in, because we highlight everything. That's why it's called a highlight, right?
Yeah.
Nobody shows the losses or the time, enough of the sweat or the failures. Liv, for you, how much time have you been putting into your projective, just being an athlete in general, but also the sport of basketball? How much time would you say throughout your younger time? How much were you? I mean, let me ask you, were you guys outside kids?
Definitely for like especially like kind of middle school and stuff like that, but not outside. I mean like literally outside. Like I was in the neighborhood. Like I outdoorsy person for sure, but outside as much, like definitely how much time and effort the sport requires, especially to take it to the level that I want to. It's limited my social life a little bit, but that's honestly something that I'm okay with. And I feel like that's one of the things, like one of the separating factors from, being good and being great. And kind of when you want to take it to the level that so many do, you have to make those sacrifices. And that was something that I was okay with, especially because of how just passionate I am about it, and how much I really, really want it.
True, very true. What about you, Brie?
I would say I was an outdoors kid because I did a lot of things outside. I was part of this recreational league, and we did soccer outside, and it was a year-round thing. So there would be different sessions of different sports. So it was basketball, it was tennis, it was soccer. Definitely when COVID happened, I definitely was an outside kid. I wasn't
Bike rides to the neighborhood.
Yeah, I wasn't really prior to playing basketball. I never had gyms to go to or went to training. So when COVID happened, that's really when I built myself. Me and my dad went to the outside court around our house every day, and even multiple times a day. We'd go for the first workout, go back home. I had this virtual trainer, and we'd do it in my garage. Then we'd go right back to the same park 3 hours later outside, go back home, do the same virtual workout for 30 more minutes. And I did 3 workouts, literally 3 workouts a day, every single day during COVID. And I feel like that's where I caught up, and that's kind of where I got my outdoorsy kidness from.
That's so dope. Like I said, Brie, again, knowing you were real smaller, already working hard, but then it was like to see back on the scene again in high school, I was like, this ain't the same girl I saw a couple years ago. But from that work, and then in Liv, I know through Coach, we talked about Coach B, and then Coach Hicks over there, a good friend of mine too, was like, oh, that got one, but those hours, you can't get there without putting in those hours, right? What are some of the things that probably have any like obstacles that come across? Of course, right, highlights always get exposed. But what about some times where I don't want to do this, or any nights where like, okay, I got to take a break, or something happen, injuries that shut you down for a minute? What about some things that may have come across where you have to either adjust or shift differently to keep my work going, but also know like, okay, this is kind of tough. Like, and you can go whoever wants to offer to ask it out.
I'll go first because I don't know about you, but I've been injured pretty recently. During the summer, even this spring. This was going to be my final AAU season. I was about to be a senior, about to graduate from the 11th grade, go to the 12th grade. So this was my last AAU season, and I didn't play spring. Only played half of the summer. I think I maybe got 2 weeks of AAU on my last AAU season. I think I played 1 tournament in Vegas and 1 tournament in Chicago. And, it did stick with me a little bit. But I know I have so much film and I put so many hours in. And my dad, he just always pushed me, like, just to think about the end goal and to think about God has a plan for you. And this is in God's plan. And luckily, surgery minimally invasive. I just had arthroscopic, was no ACL, MCL, nothing big. But I definitely, my mental struggled a little bit because I got to watch my friends play. And I was just like, dang, like I wish that was me. Wish I could play in the Arizona EYBL and and it was EYBL tournament. And this was my first ever chance to ever get such a big opportunity. Shout out to Coach Hines and Coach Almeida. Y'all have helped me. Y'all have kept me around the game. I've learned so much in with Cal Stars. RIP Coach Larry, you the GOAT. I'm just so grateful.
That's dope.
Yeah. No, like she said, injuries definitely coming with all these hours and stuff that, her and I are obviously putting in to get where we want to be. It's a lot of work, and it's definitely tiring at times. It's exhausting at times. But making sure to keep that balance, especially because it's super easy to get burnt out, especially when you're always in the gym. You're waking up early. Like you said, you mentioned Ink. I'm in the lab in the AM before school. And so... But just making sure to really have that balance, I think, is sometimes I get caught up a little bit in too much of, like, of course, you can never practice too much, but sometimes it definitely starts to feel a little bit more of like a job than, something I'm really doing for fun. And so that's when usually I kind of check myself. I'm like, hold on, like, let's take a day off. Let's go get food with friends because this is something that, I'm going to be doing for the rest of my, hopefully, obviously not the rest of my life, but I definitely want to be involved in the sport for the rest of my life. But I'm obviously not going to be playing. And so making sure to have that balance. And then definitely I wasn't injured as recently, and I haven't had any major injuries, knock on wood.
Yeah, for sure.
But I definitely, like I said, I was playing flag football last year as a sophomore, and I sprained my MCL, and that put me out. I was lucky enough to not be out for any of like our normal season games, and actually I didn't miss any preseason either, but just, for how much I work and how much, like, I love the process as much as I love like the results and the outcome. And so to have to sit on that sideline, definitely, it makes me frustrated. You know, it was making me like it's almost like I was like a dog on a leash. Like I just wanted to go, I wanted to play, and to have to sit there. But I also have like a bunch of great. I have a great physical trainer. Her name's Janae. Shout out Infinite.
Shout out Janae.
And she was kind of somebody who helped me through that recovery process. And definitely, I think if anything to take away from any injury that you may have is don't rush it. And I think that's super important. A lot of athletes, you know, like especially the ones who love the game, want to get back as fast as possible. But you know, that chances are if you go back when your body isn't healed, then that could lead to other injuries and stuff like that. And so making sure to just really take the time, heal up, and get back out there because you know that's the best part.
Yeah. How important is recovery? Because even in the professional side, male and female, a lot more people. Again, I'm dating myself here. We didn't get injured as much as the kids do now. I know y'all have more resources, y'all train so much, but we didn't get injured. We played outside. We played on concrete. We played on asphalt consistently. But the injury rate, ACL, Achilles, is so high right now for athletes in general. It's just like, but are they taking time out or are they playing other sports to build those muscles? But how important is the recovery part just in general to you guys?
It's really important. And I think where a lot of injuries come from is a lot of people don't do injury prevention. I think it's so underrated. Since I've been hurt so many times and even had to go under the knife for basketball, my dad, he emphasizes injury prevention. Like before every workout, I always do band work, always open up my hips, rotate my hips, hip flexors. I think a lot of people don't know that the female body, the way the hips are structured, it's structured to have babies. It's not structured to be jumping up and down and to be laying up. So I think y'all need to really emphasize injury prevention and opening up your hips because those is where a lot of ACL tears, where they come from.
Yeah, no, definitely. The band work for sure. That's my coach, actually, my high school coach, Shandon Foster. Her daughter, unfortunately, has suffered now 2 ACL tears, both separate knees. And so since that first one, before every practice, every game, we each have a little band that we carry in our backpacks, and we sit and we do band work before every single practice just to make sure, you know, that is something that we're prioritizing. Because I definitely think that, and especially in recent years with how common you touched on ACL tears and stuff like that, it is so much more common in women than it is in men. And I think definitely, especially with the resources we have now and how much the kind of field for that is increasing, that more studies should be done. I feel like it's definitely not talked about enough, especially having to do with like periods and stuff like that, like all that kind of stuff. It definitely changes the female body, and so definitely something that we should be highlighting more, especially. And you got Paige Beckers, so many just like professional athletes now who have like gone through this and then had to go through the mental journey with it as well. Definitely making sure that we're talking about it and then talking about what we can do to prevent it, like she said. And then also, I think just for me, at least, definitely recovery is one of the biggest things, and it's definitely been preached to me a lot as well. Shout out Janae from Infinite again, because man, she stays on my neck about that stuff, and for good reason too. I have like, you know, a pair of those like recovery boots, things that inflate and stuff like that.
Yes, I love the Normatex.
And so I'm using those before games, after games, post practice, ice baths too. As much as I hate them, I be in the ice baths a lot as well. But making sure that you are taking care of your body, because even though we're still young, like so many young players especially think that, oh, like I'm young, nothing bad can happen to me, like I'm young, like my muscles are strong, you know, I got a ton of flexibility. Something can always go wrong, something can always happen. So making sure that you are really locking in, and as boring as it is, stretching as well is one of the big things that I'm always doing for sure.
I definitely agree with you. That's the advantage I believe we had. We just played different sports consistently, where we didn't focus on one muscle group so long. That was the recovery process from the other sport, but also it built a new muscle group to help whatever. But you got right now, it's more 1-2 sports, that's it, or one the whole time, and eventually, you know, those things are gonna help, you know. But that's what's up. I'm not sure. I want to get where the middle school basketball for you. If you guys know right now, it's a totally different level right now, like across the world. Like
crazy.
It's getting wild.
They're evolving.
Right? It's even from the skill set or just the activity, the buzz, early trying to find middle school kids in high school. Like
2036.
I'm like, what? Like you're in 7th grade, but you know. So, but what middle school did you ladies go to?
I didn't really go to a real middle school. I went through a K through 8th.
Okay. Okay.
Heron.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
I same actually both. I went to 2K through 8th, or actually because after COVID happened, I was at Sierra Oaks kindergarten through 6th grade, and then my parents really wanted me to stay in school because they were doing the online learning and stuff, and so I switched to Country Day, which is a private school, and then I went there 7th and 8th grade. But
Nice.
Country Day is like kindergarten, like preschool through like 12.
12. They go.
Yeah, and so there was never, especially like on the school side of things, middle school basketball was never like anything like crazy like it is now for me.
Yes.
Because Heron's out next to Thomas Middle, right?
Yes,
I used to work
down
at
the
Thomas Middle
street.
years ago, but okay, Heron's over that way. That's what's up. What would you say that is the biggest attribute to your middle school game that you did the best during that time of your life? And give me something that you feel like you had to work on at that time of your life. You can remember, like something you're really good at, and also give me something like I wasn't good at this in middle school.
In middle school, that's a really good question. In middle school, I felt like I was more in conscience. Maybe because I knew there wasn't going to be any repercussions. I didn't go to a real middle school.
Gotcha.
The coach couldn't tell me anything. I was going to do whatever I wanted. I definitely think I was more risky in middle school. Something I needed to work on. That's a good question. Something I needed to work on was everything. You can improve on everything. I was the team's everything: the defender, the rebounder, the scorer. The coach was just a teacher at the school, so the coach didn't know anything about basketball either. But something in middle school, like playing in AAU, something I needed to take away was I definitely needed to get faster. I realized I wasn't growing anymore, which is unfortunate. So I needed to get faster. I worked on my ball handling, becoming a point guard, turning myself into a point guard because, believe it or not, I used to be a center. So transitioning from 6th grade all the way to 8th grade, it was definitely a big transition for me because I realized I wasn't growing anymore. So I had to go from literally doing post moves into calling out sets. And middle school was all about a time of learning and evolving for me. I felt like I was kind of behind the 8 ball because I didn't play basketball since the 3rd grade. So for middle school was a time for me to learn. And I kind of appreciate COVID happening because
It's catch up, right?
yeah, it's catch up. I isolated myself and I watched the game every day. I studied it. My dad bought me books. I read a book by Kobe. I read a book by Teresa Witherspoon, by Tamika Catchings. I spent days in and out reading books about how to be better, reading books, studying the pick and roll, studying the give and go, just studying the art of basketball. We watched hardwood classics from John Stockton and Karl Malone. Like me and my dad really studied and really turned myself into a basketball, like a real basketball prodigy, and I just pay all homage to him.
That's fire. That's what's up.
Yeah, middle school definitely. I think some of the biggest things were I was middle school, definitely a little bit baby giraffe, kind of learning how to control my body a little bit better, getting, quicker, faster, and just ultimately kind of like agility, I think was a big one. And then ball handling as well. I was taller than a lot, and, I had only ever seen, really good ball handlers be on the shorter side. But, and now I'm like, why not me, right? Like, so that was definitely the agility side of things and ball handling. But then also the mental game of things. I was, and I still am, but I've gotten a lot better at it, but just like super, super hard on myself because, whether it's like underperforming was one of the big things is like, maybe I'm not playing the way that I want to, or I'm not really just not playing the way I want to, and making sure to kind of be able to move past that that next play mentality and stuff like that has definitely been something that I've been working on for years, and it's something that I take honestly, one of the most things I'm most proud about for myself is how far I've come, because it used to be really bad, like like in the car with my parents after games, like crying because I didn't play as like well as I wanted to, and it's just, a little bit like it wasn't that serious middle school, but then also just kind of growing from that. And then I think also definitely AAU was one of the big things for me that kind of changed in middle school. I started playing AAU in 7th grade, and so honestly, you're looking back now, and like you said, the middle school game has changed a ton now. Like you have circuit teams for 4th graders.
Yes.
It wasn't like that, and honestly, my family and I weren't as like educated on like kind of the circuit and the AAU scene.
Yeah.
And so I was actually not like kind of recruited, or I was opened up to the world from it. Marcus Forbes, he was one of the people who was like introduced me to the AAU world, and so that was really one of the biggest turning points too in my like younger career, I guess, because AAU now is like one of, if not the biggest way to get recruited. And so that step from, recreational sports to competitive was definitely one of the major things in middle school for me as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like I said, a different time of exposure, the type of talent, the way you, but also you guys get to go across the world. I'm like, man, go where? Florida play what?
Yeah.
Chicago play basketball? Nah.
Yeah.
I mean, you better get lucky if you went to SoCal back, but that's the exposure, the opportunity you guys get. But from middle school to high school now, what's the biggest factor as well? So go make the middle school, whatever, K-8, but now you first step into a high school campus. I got to go, what's the biggest thing you felt you had to do better?
Ooh, something I had to do better. Okay, so from the 8th grade, the summer of 8th grade, my dad made me play on a traveling tournament. And I was super nervous because I was playing 17U. I'm 14. I'm at literally 14 or 13 having to play with women that are 17 and 18 in the 12th grade. So I was super nervous. But that summer really prepared me. Shout out to Coach Matt with Travis Lady Jets. That summer really prepared me for the transition into high school because that whole summer I played against lengthier guards, faster guards, taller guards. I was playing against girls that this is their last ride. This is their last chance to get a scholarship. This is their last opportunity. So when they see me, that's lunch meat immediately. It got me mentally stronger. My dad, he preached that like you could cry now, but later it's gonna really pay off for you. And my dad, he's opened up my mind and said it's just basketball. Like there's kids out there with cancer, there's kids out there without parents, there's kids whose parents can't afford to put them in basketball. So my dad, he really emphasized just be grateful for the little things. My mom, she's big on that too. Just be grateful for the little things because God giveth and He can also take it away. For sure. So I think the transition, it was smooth for me because I had just played that summer. It was smooth. Got to rock right into varsity basketball. Yep. It was still harder because I was coming off an injury that year as well with a torn MCL. So I was really trying to gain back my lateral mobility. I couldn't play defense like I used to. Couldn't jump like I used to. I couldn't run like I used to. I could literally only run straight. I couldn't move sideways. Man. So just doing the rehab and foam rolling and ice baths and the Normatex, just recovery, back to recovery, that really prepared me.
You've been in uncomfortable situations a few times.
Always.
But that prepares you to get to that next step, right?
Always in uncomfortable situations.
I believe that's a lot of just people in general, or youth, athletes, they're comfortable.
Yes.
But to be better, excel, or live, like I said, be different.
Yes. I
want to be great. I got to be put in uncomfortable situations to then come on the other side of that the other way. What about you, Liv? What was the biggest or some things that verse you hit like, oh, okay, this is different? You said like earlier, maybe giraffe and different running, right? What was some stuff like? What was that process like? What was the
So I was fortunate enough so my coach, there's Christian Brothers, obviously varsity basketball, and then we also have like a feeder team. It's called Blue Elite. Right. And so she actually, how I even got connected to Christian Brothers in the first place was one of the assistant coach was my head coach at Country Day, my middle school. Right. And so she was like, hey, like come check out this high school, because at the time, I was honestly going to go to Rio Americano. And so that connection was made. And then I obviously was going to games, and then I was talking with Shan, who's now my coach, and she was like, hey, like you should come and try. And like I said, AAU was new to me, and so I was going and playing under their feeder team, Blue Elite. I think I started playing in the 7th grade as well with the Blue Elite team, so played for 2 years under them, under Coach Foster, who, I kind of got a good feel for how she coached and, what she expected, what she demanded from her players. And then when I think the coaching aspect, she's definitely, she likes to yell, she likes to scream, but I know to separate the tone from the message and, take what she's giving me. And then, so that was kind of easier, one of the easier aspects from transitioning to middle school ball to kind of that varsity level and, the demands that she had. Nice. But then also definitely my defense was something. I was going from playing girls who maybe had just learned to play basketball, first year playing basketball, to girls who had been playing for 4 years already. So, I wasn't great at running to my spots, cutting people off. But that's definitely something that I've gotten a lot better now. And my coach has taught me how to play defense a lot better. Yeah. And then also I think I would say the conditioning aspect of it too. Yeah. Man, that first conditioning summer, that was I might have cried a couple of times. Like that was tough. That definitely opened my eyes to what was ahead for me. But that was probably, I think, the defense and the conditioning aspect of it were the two biggest changes. And then that also kind of put into perspective like how important conditioning is. Nobody likes to sit there and run 17s. Nobody likes to go run miles in their free time. But it definitely translates, because when it's fourth quarter and you're still other team's gassed and you're like crossing people up, driving, pushing the ball down the court, locking people up on defense. That's really where that separation kind of begins. So
yeah, shout out to Coach Foster, man. She coached how she played. We graduated same year, so it was some crazy basketball. She was one of the top ladies in the area by far, for sure. So that's what I mean. But the teams resemble her. I tell my guys, so like, you gotta. I'm intense. I need my players, my teams to mimic their coach, because that's how we play that's how we play the game.
Exactly.
But definitely, she gets it out of you ladies too, which is definitely dope to see. So we always pop in and support. Just give me a couple highlights though. I mean, you guys. I know you just got through playing one of your big rivalry games. Brie, I know some of your accolades too. Just give me a couple highlights though of your high school career so far.
Ooh, a couple highlights. Definitely has to be my 1,000 points. That's definitely
big.
my highlights. Thank you.
3 years too. That's a lot of buckets for y'all that don't know. That's 3 years of buckets right there.
Winning league with my dad. That was the only year my dad's coached me, but winning league, definitely one of them.
That's what's up.
It's been so many moments.
That's good.
It's just even the little things, like just eating lunch with my team, walking around the halls with my team. Like, there's just little stuff like that I appreciate. Going to Grant, that's one of my highlights, because it's just a big transition, and Grant is just making me feel so included. And people like to highlight the bad parts of Grant, but a lot of people don't understand that Grant's top 30 in the schools of Sacramento for academics, and it always gets his children to college, always. Drumline, the pacerettes, the cheerleaders, like, Grant is really just a community, and it has so many more opportunities for people that look like me, like HBCUs. The first day I was enrolled in Grant, one of my coaches called my dad and said there's this HBCU college tour that she can go on, and I went to 4 different states in 1 week and traveled, and that was my first look into the team, and I just knew that Grant was the place for me.
That's what's up. What about you, Liz?
I think definitely out of all moments, I have a couple after this, but last year we made it to sections. Unfortunately, we fell short. That's something that we're going to get this year for sure as a Section W. But we had gone into double overtime with Whitney. We were playing at home. That was to get to sections. And, man, like, that was just something that stands out to me so much, because it's one of those games where it's like you are about to collapse. You're going back playing defense, trying to get a bucket, and it's just double overtime. That's where that conditioning comes in.
Yes.
But just celebrating with my team after the fact, like that realization that we had made it to the championship, just celebrating with them is definitely something I'll never forget. I mean, I go back sometimes and I look at the photos, just like reminiscing almost, because that was one of those moments that was like just really that community and that culture that we have and that we're building at CB and that we have had for so long. It really highlights that. And I think that's definitely one of my top 3. And then also my freshman year, you just talked about the rivalry game that we had won yesterday, but my freshman year actually, my senior at the time, or junior at the time, Alea Harmon.
At St. Francis.
At St.
I was
Francis.
there in the corner with the video camera too. That was a wild ending.
So, yeah, so they were down, I think, a couple points. I think we were down like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And then it's like we basically got to get a steal. We're pressing up. I get a steal. I kick it to Lay, and she hits a bank 3-pointer. Yep. And so that was awesome. Winning a rivalry game on a game winner is definitely one of the biggest ones. And then, outside of basketball, I think she mentioned, grabbing lunch with her team. We do a trip every year. We go out to Arizona and participate in the Nike TOC. And we get to room with our teammates. We're really just get to hang out with each other. And that's always, every year, that's a highlight for me, is just being able to spend time with them, connect with them on like a deeper level, because maybe we're not all friends at school. Maybe we don't eat lunch together, but when we come into the court, when we step on the court and off the court, when we're traveling together, that's really a sisterhood. And so that's definitely one of my highlights as well.
That's one of mine too. I like that trip. That was fun.
That's what's up. Again, shout out to you guys for doing that work put in. Liv, I know you got another year left after this year, though. But recently, Brie, I see right now you're representing. Unfortunately, you didn't choose the HBCU, but I'll let you make it. I didn't know that. I would have helped. Nah. But just talk about the process right now, Brie, because right now you're currently sitting out your senior year. But you are, I just saw, again, accepted to go play at Simpson University. How is that? Again, I know right now you show a lot of gratitude already, but just in general for yourself. But just for yourself, though. All the work you put in, shout out to mom, pops, everybody, but for yourself to accomplish this, how are you feeling about that initial moment and like, okay, this is the next step and I can continue? Because again, you're a 1%er. You're a 1%er hopefully to get there. Everybody can't say they played college basketball. How does that make you feel just overall and just where you at with that?
Just more gratitude. Gratitude. I felt so proud of myself, and I know my dad was proud of me, but I was proud of my dad too, because he told me when I was younger, I'm going to make you a basketball player. And he did. He did. Just everlasting gratitude. Like, I thank God for this opportunity. It's a Christian university. Shout out to Coach Taylor. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm going to capitalize on my opportunity. You will not regret it. You will not regret it. I'm super excited. You know, sitting out my senior year, I'm definitely stuck, you know, in a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
But there's nowhere I would not rather be than Grant.
That's what's up.
Nowhere I would not rather be than Grant. I just have so much there, so much fun there, so much inclusivity there, just so many opportunities there. Like, just to be a part of so many different cultures and be in so many clubs, like the Hmong Club, the Polynesian Club, you know, the Hispanic Club. It's literally a place.
Melting pot.
A melting pot. There's a place for anyone there, literally anyone there. And just being part of such a community that's so prideful and shows so much Grant pride, like, it's like a mini HBCU.
They show up.
They show up, yes.
I love
Grant
them to
shows
death.
up.
I love hating them to death, but I do. I like a lot of people there. Some guys I played against in college, high school, whatever. But even just right now, me coaching, they always show support. Shout out to Coach Denard. My uncle's there too, coaching, man. So they're just cool, man. They're supportive, man. They hit me on the line, call me, or we saw games. We always talk, man. So me as a coach too, it's like, man, we need other coaches to support us too. It can get rough. It can get rough. So definitely shout out to them too, man. And they always got the OGs that's hitting on the bench.
Yes.
Every time I come back, what's up, Coach Jack? I shake everybody's hand, say what's up. You know, so I appreciate them too. Liv, you got a couple things going on. I see a couple offers coming your way. Just about this process, and you're still, like, say, you're still in it. But what's it like right now to start getting some interest, seeing what's going on while you're still in the midst of, like, I got business to handle, right? So what's that like for you right now? And any type of, I mean, we're not saying where you're going, but, like, I know top level where you want to be at, but just what's that whole process like for you right now?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like she said, just gratitude, bunch of gratitude. You know, this is always a position that I wanted to be in, and now to be living that process, definitely super grateful and just overall happy, kind of taking it all in, that, you know, I've obviously made it to the point where I am, but like you said, like, I'm not done yet. Definitely a lot of things that I want to improve on and will improve on for sure. But right now, I think, you know, definitely talking to colleges, getting some interest, really trying to look and find, you know, like I said, talking to a bunch of colleges, and so when I'm on these calls with them, you know, making sure I'm asking questions and really figuring out, like, where do I want to be, where do I want to fit in, where do I see myself fitting in. Something that my parents always talk to me about is, like, you know, you want to go and you want to play basketball, but if basketball was taken away, like, do you still like that school? Do you still feel like you belong there? And that's one of the things I'm definitely looking for too. But overall, like, it's been just a great experience so far, and I've got a bunch of great people in my corner, a bunch of great trainers. You know, I got Ank, Danielle, Viglione for sure.
Shout out DV.
My coaches, my high school coaches, Nick and Shan. But yeah, like, they're all definitely in my corner. My parents as well, for sure, kind of helping me throughout this journey. I know that I can always go to them and bounce questions off of them, because, you know, like Dee, she's definitely, she's gone through the same process I have. And my coach has, you know, created a lot of players who have gone and played in college as well. And so she's also familiar with the process. And so just making sure that, you know, I do have the right people in my corner to help me through this journey, and ultimately the ones who will help me make my decision. But I think that's the most important part, is to have people who, you know, have your best interest in mind, and making sure that you have a really tight circle, a tight corner. And that's what I think kind of is just going on right now in my life, especially with the recruiting process.
That's what's up. So again, shout out to both of you ladies too. Also, now you guys have the opportunity to get NIL money, do certain branding deals. So you guys are a brand, you guys are a business. And I would say, I'm not sure if you've done any other interviews, but I was telling everybody, they was early today. They came early, they ready to go. Promptness, that means something, right? Even real world work practice, whatever, right? That's been instilled, but you guys carry that. So shout out to you guys for that. So at the end of all the pods, right, you ladies hoopers, you know what triple threat is: drill, pass, or shoot. However, we flip it on my show. We want to ask you, what's your personal triple threat, right? So if Liv or Brie, somebody sees you or sees this interview, give me 3 things that you kind of hang your hat on or kind of move by, or somebody can see you walking around. Oh, that's Liv. I know that's Brie. I saw this. This is how she is. Liv, we'll go with you first. Give me your personal triple threat, like 3 things. Like, say, if somebody's looking into you, or this is what you stamp. What stamps you?
I think my work ethic, my determination, and then also my ability to communicate, my communication, for sure.
Nice. Brie?
I'd say my bubbliness. I like to talk to everybody.
Big smile all the time.
I'm always smiling. I'm always laughing. I get along with everybody.
Dope.
I'd say my punctuality. I'm always on time everywhere. You know, that you can never say I'm late anywhere. Always on time. And bubbliness, punctuality. And I probably say my motivation, like things motivate me. You know, now that I'm going to play the highest level, now I have to be even more motivated because now the bare minimum is not going to cut it. Now I need to do more to ensure that I keep my scholarship.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. Appreciate you, ladies, for coming by the show. Up, guys, come on, look for keepsake for you. Brie, I got one more. I'm gonna give you a red one too. I'm gonna give one to Liv, but also I'm gonna get you this pink one. But I got you a red white one coming too. But yeah, we stay applying pressure. Like that's on the front of the shirt. So like I said, we can get them going, man. But I'm super excited for you, ladies. Like I said, for real. Watching your journey, Liv, meeting you through my homeboy, but then watching you on the court, Brie, just learning from the past few years to see you come through adversity too. And when I saw that day, I was like, man, she signed again. Your bubbliness was there. You were so happy, excited. But we worked for it though, right?
Yes.
So that's a shout out to you and your work ethic and overcoming. Live too. I know the mental tough part of it can be up and down. I mean, again, you're not the average name locally in Sacramento anywhere else. I mean, a lot comes with that. Expectations on the court, off the court to perform. Both of you ladies, take time for yourselves, right? Yes, I know we love our sports, love what we do. Sometimes you got to put the ball down and go do something different or just do nothing and just sit in peace and quiet or relax. And we know mental health is a worldwide thing, but especially athletes, for no matter male or female, it's important for us to be the best version of yourself, right? So I want to make sure you take time to do that, but also know that people are watching you, supporting you. Even if we don't see each other all the time, I want to see you guys win because you ladies are definitely worth it. And when you guys win, I win. I get to hit a like on whatever it is, and I win too when you ladies win. So you heard it first, man. Shout out to Woods Media. Shout out to Liv and Brie, 94 feet with Coach JT. Pops in the back, chilling. Appreciate you, Pops. Liv, your parents too. We out. Peace.
Bye.
Yo, mic check, 1, 2. Coach JT in the building, what it do? 94 feet, that's the space we own. From baseline to baseline, make it known. Dribble the beat, pass the rhyme. Got that hardwood flow, transcend the space and time. Swish, nothing but net. Word to Reggie Miller, these other podcasts, they just fill up. We elevate, never hate. Dropping knowledge, seal your fate. 94 feet, that's the court, that's the pod. Talking hoops, ain't no facade. 94 feet, hit a bounce, hit a swish. It's that podcast, granting every wish. From the jump ball to the final buzzer. Analyzing plays like a lyrical puzzler.